what pulled you is you guys have a big vision to help 2,000 firms double their revenue. So tell me how you came across that goal, that vision, that guiding light.
Yeah, actually, that story started back in 2000. This is when I started my first brick and mortar business here in the US. I know I'm aging myself a little bit, but yes, I have been operating businesses for 24 years, almost 24 years. December 12th of this year will be 24 years since I registered my first business, and that was a financial service company. And when I started it, I very quickly realized that the most difficult aspect of the business was not the operations. It was not what we were doing. It was not sales. It was getting new customers. Holy shit, it was so incredibly difficult. This is when I learned that if you're going to have a successful small business, you need to have a really well-oiled marketing machine. Everything else almost doesn't matter because it's your first building block. If you do everything else right, but your marketing sucks, everything else becomes irrelevant. So you have to start there. So once I came to that realization, this is when I decided that one day I'm going to build a marketing company. And as I exited from that business 8 years, 8.5 years later, successfully, very successfully, um, I didn't know what to do with myself. So a friend who I've been helping scale his business suggested that I go into consulting. And I said, okay, I'll start a consulting company for small business owners and I will help them grow their business. And I did. And I would come up with all of these great strategies. We just talked about it before we hit the record button. Strategies, plans, tactics. And then I would tell them, go implement. And they'd be like, great, but who's going to do this? And that's when I was like, hey, this consulting, it's meaningless unless somebody is doing the marketing piece. You can teach people very well how to sell well. Anybody, attorneys, plumbers, electricians, doesn't matter. Selling is the easy part. Marketing is where you need a department, good people, very smart people who are working on your marketing day in, day out. This is when that seed was planted. This is when I decided that, and I didn't want to start a marketing company anymore. I'm like, this is going to take too long. I'm going to buy one. So, and as I conceptualized and crystallized that vision, I was like, well, we're going to go for a big goal. I know how difficult it can be to be a small business owner operating a $500,000 company or $1 million company or 2 million, $3 million company is still very difficult to operate. So I'm like, we're going to help 2,000 small business owners make their lives better by making their business better. That's how it came
Incredible.
together.
Incredible. I love that. I love the mission. I love the vision. And then that direction, that guiding light. Before we jump in and we have a little bit of fun on the back and forth and like our opinions and what we see in the industry, and we're gonna have like a fun jam session. I just wanted to ask, so one of the things doing the research, I noticed you're a certified Scrum Master.
Yeah.
Working off the Agile framework. Was that from the finance side? And do you apply that to things like SEO retainers that are ongoing? Are you implementing the Scrum components to your current project management and operations?
I implement Scrum in my daily life and in my business. I find Scrum to be incredibly useful. For those who may not be familiar with what Scrum is, it's a project management methodology that was created by a bunch of old dudes who were doing project management for 3, 4 decades before they were like, hey, this process doesn't work very well. So if we focus on just four things, here's your backlog, the things, all the things that need to be done on the project. Here's what you're going to be doing this week or whatever this sprint, that could be a week or 2 or 3 weeks. Here's what you were doing now and here's what got done. And every day you meet and you talk about what got done yesterday, what's getting done today, what might be in the way. Things flow much smoother. So I kid you not, it's a daily practice for me, even in my personal life.
That's incredible. I noticed, Jason Fried from
Mm-hmm.
Rework and 37 Signals,
Yeah.
like he's eliminated a lot of meetings because of those Scrum. Now he does
Yeah.
it from through his project management tool. I think there's even components of it in the EOS, for the goals, the 90-day rocks. It's kind of a similar methodology breaking down into smaller increments.
Yeah, I'm familiar with EOS. Not a huge fan because of some of the rigidity that's built into it.
Hmm.
I just had a coaching call. We have two coaches that we're working with, my partner and I. We had a coaching call with our coach, John Morris, who is the guy behind Rise Interactive, brand built here in Chicago. He successfully, very successfully exited that business. I know when he sold that company, they were doing upwards of $40 million in gross revenue. And we were talking about EOS versus no EOS. And for those of you who may not be aware, EOS stands for Entrepreneurial Operating System. There's definitely some Scrum in it, but it's because of its rigidity. Like, here's the plan, you stick to the plan, you have to do this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
not our
I
thing.
got
And
you.
I think most law firm owners probably would not be on board with EOS. I just have a feeling because I've talked to
Mm.
thousands of them.